we are going to get started with our second match of the day. So before we get into that, though, let's take a look at the brackets, how the teams got here, and how things are shaping up across the tournament. So taking a look, we've got Jackson with the sweep. Nassau, again, had that forfeit bye into the quarterfinals. Lincoln Land takes down Harrisburg area 4-0. Waubonsee takes down Iowa Central 4-1. Right now, oh, sorry, I read that incorrectly. Grace Harbor got the sweep, as we saw on stream. Hawkeye beats Centralia with a sweep, and John Wood gets a sweep over Wake Tech. So that is how things are looking right now in the quarterfinals, and we will update you guys throughout the rest of the stream. So at this point, let's go on down to the rosters. We're going to take a look at who's going to be coming onto the field for Nassau Community College. So on the Nassau squad, we are going to have Skizbo, Spoilt, Someone Sneaky, Easy Peasy, Scope. Oh, sorry, this is Jackson. My apologies. This is the Jackson College. We've got Skizbo, Spoilt, Someone Sneaky, and Easy Peasy Scopes. Over on the other side for Nassau, we have... we do not have a roster graphic for Nassau. Looking in the lobby, though, it looks like we've got Dahl, Horst, of course, and I'm trying to see who our last one is. It looks like eBest Drew. So, with that all being said, I think it's about time we head on down to the HyperX casting booth. I will be solo casting for you guys while we wait for Hoodie, who is going to be our co-caster. He is currently in the middle of his match with his team. They are in Game 6, from what I'm told. So we will have him join once he is ready. But at this point, we are ready to head on down to the field. Nassau versus Jackson. We're just waiting for them to get on into the lobby. All right, so we are going to have Jackson College over on the orange side, Nassau Community College over on the blue. And so here we go, kicking it off. I mean, Ninja going with it, but Spoilt picks the ball up. He's going to look to send it downfield, going for maybe a double, but Dahl up trying to read that. It's going to be sent way downfield. Skizbo, missing the touch, has some time to clear this off to the corner. Dahl now going to follow in. Gets a great 50 against Skizbo, but Scopes coming on in. And now Scopes looking to get the counterattack off this right side wall here, sends it downfield. eBest Drew pops it up, looking to get out of the defensive zone. Going to go into the corner. He's going to let this one drop. Skizbo there, right there off the back wall to get that. Now Ninja coming in, but Scopes following up once more early on. We're seeing some nice possession come out from Nassau. They're getting some good offensive pressure. Cleared here by Skizbo, but Drew is right there to catch this one. Drew following up with a solo play, gets quick touch, but Spoilt gets in for the save to keep this one at 0-0 early on. Phenomenal speed coming out on the defensive end. But right now, Jackson needs to try and get downfield, as right now they are struggling to find their way out of the defensive end, as Drew once more right there at the midfield line, passes it off the corner, Dahl up, takes a 50 with Spoilt, as now Ninja coming in, gets the shot just wide of the post. Skizbo, low boost, will get up on the play, and Scopes trying to bail him out, but Dahl up for that block once more. Drew getting up, looking for the dunk on Spoilt, doesn't get it, and now another 50 as Skizbo gets the ball down into the Nassau zone. He's going to pass it off the corner. Dahl off the back wall, though, will get a touch to at least get it around one offensive player. And now Ninja looking to get the ball back down to the zone. Dahl going to head upfield with it. The run's out of boost, not able to do much. As Skizbo heading downfield. Going to be Spoilt. Shot for the upper corner. Can't get that one through. But Scopes follows up the play. Puts it in. First goal of the game coming out here for Jackson. So even though a lot of that pressure coming out from Nassau, we see Jackson College getting on the board first, making it a 1-0 game. So now here we go. Kickoff after the early goal, just over a minute and a half into this one. It's going to be a 50 there. Scopes comes in, gets a soft touch. He's going to follow this one downfield. Dahl gets bumped by a teammate, gets thrown out of the play, but the double there saves that one. Drew doesn't get credit for a save, but made a big play to keep that one out, but Dahl ends up hitting it off the back wall. That is going to lead to an own goal, making it now 2-0 here for Jackson College. And that is an unfortunate play. You hate to see it, but I mean, right now, if you're Nassau, you're very thankful for the way that one panned out. It's the 2-0 lead here off the kickoff. Scopes going to take control, trying to get a way out of here. He's going to follow it. Gets a nice touch. We see Ninja stepping up. But here comes Spoiled. Slams it back down towards the corner. Dahl looking to get control. Now Skizbo pops it up. Dahl has an opportunity. NASSAU looking to get the offense started. He's coming up, keeping up in the air for quite a while. Great preservation of boost. Cannot make a touch on it. As now it goes back downfield. Spoiled coming in. And Dahl trying to just get it away. What a pinch as that one zooms to the ceiling. And now here comes Drew. He's going to try and get it out. Does a little bit, but here comes Go. Oh, what a demo play. Could that open it up in the net? It does. Dahl gets NASSAU on the board. It's now a 2-1 game as we just crossed halftime in game number 1 of this best of 7 quarterfinal matchup. And a demo play was the one that really opened up that goal. Phenomenal placement on the shot, too, right in that bottom corner with lots of power. So now 2:23 on the clock as Dahl and Skizbo going at it. Nice pop here. Ninja up. Can he get the touch? Dahl was going for the free jump, but unfortunately, Ninja not able to get the pass over. So now Dahl looking to get around. Well, pops it. Here comes Scopes getting control. He's going to flick it off to the left side, trying to see if he can get into the corner, find a way around. Drew sends it back, but Skizbo right on top. We're seeing that midfield presence coming out yet again. Both teams have been able to do it really well with possession plays, being able to keep the ball in the offensive zone by blocking off that midfield line, having that third man there waiting for the clear attempts. As we see Drew again hanging out right there at that midfield line. Spoil can't do it as he runs out of boost. And now here comes Skizbo. Good boost steal by Spoil. And it's going to be Scopes keeping the pressure on. Comes in off the back wall. Drew does get a touch, but it's right to Spoil. Spoil back to the back wall once more. Never mind. It goes in and drops underneath the crossbar, making it now 3-1 in favor of Jackson. So after getting the sweep, Jackson is coming in hot, feeling really confident. And you could possibly think NASSAU getting that first round bye, having to wait for their matchup, might throw them off a little bit. And it seems like Hoodie might be connected. Hoodie, are you here in the call with us?
I am in the call. Are we live at the moment?
We are live. We are in the middle of game number 1. We've got about a minute 15 to go. And right now we see NASSAU heading down the field. But it is a 3-1 lead for Jackson. Are you able to see the match and everything like that? Are you all set up?
I am. I do apologize about the delay getting here. My team just finished getting their first round finished up against Wake Tech, so it was an excellent game. But this game seems to be very, very fast-paced as I'm hopping in.
Yeah, early on, these teams going back and forth. Really good pace from both sides. And I'm loving the offensive pressure. We're seeing lots of passing, lots of high-flying plays. Something that is really high level. And it's going to be interesting to see which side's going to prevail, because right now both teams very even here as Drew gets the shot on to make it 3-2.
Yes, that was a beautiful angle from him to squeeze that pass. Going to breathe that bounce off the wall. And those angle shots are some of the hardest to get in there.
Yeah, definitely a tough shot, and especially with how much power he got behind it. Lots of speed. And so now a 3-2 game. They're just right within reach to send it to OT and heck, maybe even win this one in regulation as Skizbo sends it over to Spoil, who's going to try and get it downfield, trying to kill any chance of a comeback as Drew now trying to get control, but Spoil again right on top of him. Up to the back wall it goes. Scopes coming in. Shot opportunity, but it's a little bit wide.
A wide shot there is going to give the NASSAU crew an opportunity to push this down the field, try to get that third point in here to push this into overtime. Only 6 seconds left on the clock. Nice redirect there into the corner. Not going to be able to do anything with it as it is too far into their side of the field. Jackson's going to pick up this game 1.
So a very interesting game throughout this one. We saw a lot of back and forth. We saw both teams get some really quality offensive possessions. I've taken a look at the stats. Both teams had 4 shots apiece. Jackson credited 2 saves, NASSAU credited with 1. But one thing that you always like to see when you're looking at the stat line is Jackson had a total of 3 assists on those 3 goals, so all shots accredited for there. And that's, I mean, you love to be able to see the passing plays come out in such a strong fashion, and that might be something to keep an eye on as we go throughout the series.
Definitely. The more teamwork that you have in any kind of game like this, the more opportunities you're going to create for yourself. And I like to equate it a lot to soccer. Opportunities equals goals, and the better opportunities, the better goals. So I missed a lot of that game, unfortunately, because I did get in late, so I was not able to quite see the pace of both teams. So I'm personally really excited to watch the second game from the beginning.
Yeah, so far, I mean, things look really good. These teams looking great so far early on. And as I was saying, it's a lot of back and forth. You're seeing a lot of really good passing plays. The rotations look very clean. So it's going to be interesting to see who's going to be able to make those adjustments to get that upper edge heading here into game number 2. I think we're all set, just waiting for them to join up. But I mean, passing plays are always a key thing, but the speed also, I mean, the speed of the game, you saw both teams being able to adjust and adapt very quickly on the fly.
I do have to say the speed immediately noticeable as I got into watching. We're going to have the kickoff here start, and it's going to be Jackson pushing this into the NASSAU side.
So early on, a couple misses there.
Oh, yeah, I was about to say the ball's going to go dead middle. Bull here is going to try to do something with it, but Spoiled with some patience there is going to be able to wait for that to hit the ground, get a nice redirect on that. Excellent teardrop there. Not going to be able to get that bounce into the back of the goal, though.
Yeah, one thing I'm liking from both of these teams is the awareness on the field of where everybody is. We see Dahl, he notices it's empty downfield, just pops it and is able to get a nice goal. A little bit of an overcommitted Spoiled last man back, tried to go for it and realized just a little too late that he can get beat to the ball. So an early 1-0 lead here for Nassau. They're trying to come back after going down 1-0 in the series.
And overcommitting is definitely something you have to be wary of, and unfortunately even the best teams can do it from time to time. Oh, that's an excellent shot, just a little bit high there. Going to bounce off the top of that crossbar. It's going to be passed over into the middle. Dole's going to get that knocked down. Field Ghostr's going to follow that up. A good redirect there is going to be a little bit wide, and it's going to be Scopes there who's going to get that. It's going to be passed into the middle. Nobody there. And instead, Shoesbo's going to follow this down. He's not even going to pass it to anybody or try to make anything happen. It's going to be stolen there at the end, and now it's Ghostru going to try to make something happen down on Jackson's side.
And I'm liking both teams really looking for those next level plays, trying to either find the passing route. That's one thing we're seeing Nassau really step into their game, but we're seeing some more solo opportunities coming out here from Jackson in game number 2, something we didn't see too much of. So we'll see if they're going to really start to come out with some more solo opportunities, whether it be in the air or be on the ground, as we saw Skizbo go for that dribble and decide to bail out of a passing play, looking for the shot instead. Ninja looking for a shot, gets a block. It's going to be Scopes trying to get control. And look for the mid pass, team bump there. His dog keeping control with it. Can he get it up to the wall? He's looking to go into the corner. Tries to pass it through Skizbo, but Skizbo gets the block. Shot opportunity by Ninja, and it's going to be Spoiled back into the middle, but Drew keeping the pressure on, and we're seeing some really nice pressure here from Nassau now, as they've been able to keep the ball down here for about a solid 30 seconds.
I do apologize, trying to do the match information. So, okay, we've got the amount of pressure coming out from Nassau on the Jackson side now being imitated right back, and Jackson's trying their best to get a point here to bring this scoreline even. It's going to be a pretty dead center shot there. Unfortunately, Nassau is very committed to protecting their goal and had 2 people back there ready to make sure nothing got back.
Ooh, a good opportunity here. Gets it out of the way. Barely getting in for that save. The offensive pressure looks really good here for Jackson. They're getting some really good opportunities. They need to try and figure out a way, though, to get the defense out of the net, because right now the shots just seem to be going right to a defender in the net. If they can try and find those top opportunities, they might be able to give themselves a nice open look at the net here. Is now Ninja trying to clear this one out.
And it is going to be Nassau's side once again. A very good angle there is going to be just a little bit wide to the right for Scopes. And it's going to be Ghostru here to make sure nothing can happen with that cross. Scopes, once again, in a really good position. Very strong hits from him. You get some power behind there. Ghostru, though, excellent positioning, excellent reading, making it very hard for both these teams to really make anything happen.
Yeah, right now we're just doing a little bit of tit for tat back and forth, but it's staying down in the blue end. Here comes Dahl, though, going for the air dribble, sets it up off the back wall, and it's going to be Skizbo looking to clear this one out. But again, we had some, again, really good offensive coming out from Jackson, but Dahl comes in.
Oh, I saw him floating through the air just there in the back, and I could feel the read that he had on that ball, and he was able to just get it just below those defenders, right in between them. An excellent shot from him to take that up 2-0.
Yeah, so far, I mean, Dahl is really impressive. He's got some phenomenal next-level reads, and his aerial skills are really stellar. A big save there, but Dahl is able to get in for the hat trick with 1:10 to go.
Definitely can tell who NASSAU is using as a primary finisher. Regardless of how he plays elsewhere in the team on rotation, he is very good at getting that finishing in and being able to get past those defenders, and they are using that to their full advantage. A 3-0 scoreline, much different than what I came into watching in that game 1. So maybe they found their pace of play a little bit.
Yeah, it seems to be so. Even though Jackson has done a very good job when it comes to the possession, they just have not gotten the opportunities to the back of the net the same way Nassau has. What a redirect by Drew as Dahl, the man of the match, coming in once more. Can't get that one in the middle.
That redirect by Drew was absolutely beauty on the eyes. They're going to be able to use it and, you know, not really give up any momentum and have this ball. Oh, as I say that, of course, the ball's going to get knocked down to their side. It's going to be Spoiled, seeing if he can follow that up to make anything happen. A good demo as he leaves. And, you know, Jackson is not counting themselves out, even though they're down 3-0 in this game. They're still trying.
Yeah, they're doing a phenomenal job again. The possession play is really good. They're just not quite getting the same quality opportunities that we're seeing from the Nassau side. Nassau is really using their speed, their power to give themselves some opportunities, and the reads from Dahl have been phenomenal. But then over on the Jackson side, they're just doing a great job of controlling the ball when they get those offensive opportunities. They just need to get the same quality attempts, the same power behind the ball. And it looks like we're going to have a shutout here in game number 2. Wait, hang on that. Dots pull it off the back wall, and I think this one might be enough to get to the ground. Scopes keeps it up a 0 boost, and Dahl bullies him around a little bit. Nassau going to tie up the series at 1-1.
I think that was a much better series for Nassau, having to feel much more comfortable with their performance there. 1-1 series. Best of 7, plenty of games still left to play. See if Jackson maybe comes back to this next game with a different drawing board, different game plan, and is able to maybe shore up that scoreline a little bit.
Yeah, one thing I think I would like to see more of from Jackson is looking off the back wall. They had some really good plays. They were putting a lot of pressure on. I mean, they had 9 shots, so it's not like it was a lack of effort there on the offensive end. But if you look at those 9 shots, 5 of those saved from Nassau, so there's still 4 more shots unaccounted for. Looking at the Nassau side of things, I mean, they had a strong 3-0 win there after going down 2-3 in game 1. What are your thoughts? What do they need to either keep doing, or what do they need to do to just up their game a little bit more heading into game number 3?
To me, it seemed like putting that pressure onto Jackson made them kind of have some issues answering it, and that is what gave them a lot of those opportunities. Maybe Jackson not able to cycle their defensive rotations as well as their offensive rotations, and if they keep that pressure up, I think that's going to be very, very good. Once again, a very early aggression here from Nassau's side, and Jackson's going to do the best they can to see if they can get some of that same aggression behind their play.
It almost feels like Nassau is coming out a little bit quicker than they did in the past game now, as they've gotten all of the attempts so far early on, 30 seconds in, and they're keeping it going as Drew sends it down to the opposite corner. So that speed, I mean, they took it to a next level. They were already quick, but now even faster, trying to get even more attempts. They haven't found the net yet, but it's only a matter of time. It seems like right down in front of the net, gets saved by Scopes.
I've always liked hearing the idea of momentum in these long series, but Rocket League does occasionally take it to a whole new level when you can literally see the players' cards getting faster and more direct with their play and stuff like that. So here in a tied series 1-1, Nassau's not slowing down at all. They're just getting faster, and it's going to be another teardrop goal that is an excellent setup from, I believe that was Drew following up his own shot. That was excellent all the way around.
Yeah, great read off the waterfall shot there. And that's one thing to keep in mind, the speed for Nassau. As we were saying, they seem like they're getting a little bit faster. Keep in mind, the first round, they actually did not have a match. They had their opponents, unfortunately, had to forfeit. So this could very well be their competitive warm-up because they haven't been in a series yet. As Drew follows this one along, a little bit of an awkward play, but it gets into the back of the net for an early 2-0 lead.
I wanted to watch this one a little bit closer. That follow-up was very good. I think, once again, a little bit of defensive mishap, though, on Jackson's side. But, you can't save every single goal, and so they've got to move away from even allowing NASSAU to have these opportunities that they're getting to have these shots on goal. Scopes is going to get it knocked up pretty well, and yeah, that's actually going to go into the back. I thought that was going to end up being a little bit high there.
You were saying earlier he was getting lots of power behind his shots. He got a banger of a shot there from midfield, and unfortunately, 2 misses there on the defensive end lets that one in, so a 2-1 game, minute and a half into this one.
Oh, that is a horribly awkward kickoff there for NASSAU, but they are able to get somebody there to defend it. Oh, awkward bounce off the defender.
That is, so Drew is the scorer, apparently for both sides, because he had an own goal in game number 1 in a very similar situation. Ball off the back wall, and he ends up putting it in the back of the net. So just like that, in a matter of about 5 seconds, we are tied at 2 apiece.
Yeah, Jackson is definitely counting their blessings there, and they're hopefully going to use this as a momentum shifter for themselves. Scopes there, very aggressive play following that, and once again, so much power, just time and time again with his shots. Gizbo's there, good redirect, is able to... Woo! Those defenders
what
had
a
no opportunity.
passing play here, Spoil. Great recovery. I mean, that is what set up that entire play. He gets a soft touch, is able to recover off the corner, and sees Skizbo in the mid. So just phenomenal play from Spoil to set that one up. The shot even better, but I think the pass was the highlight of that one.
That was an excellent play all around from Jackson, and definitely what they're going to have to keep up if they're wanting to challenge that NASSAU aggression and confidence that we were seeing. And confidence does go a huge way in these games, and once you start getting that confidence back, you realize you're playing at the same pace as the other team, then it starts being a lot more even of a game. It's a very awkward positioning here. Dole with a lot of patience there to not let the defenders, or to not challenge it early, let the defenders mess up, put them in an awkward position, and then just push that right into the back of the net.
That ball went back and forth and back and forth. I was like, oh, is it going in? Nope, nope, oh, and then Dole just comes in, smacks it home. My gosh, those nail biters where it sits right on the goal line. And for those of you who don't play Rocket League, that's probably one of the most nervous things that you've ever been as a defender, is where it sits right there and you have to make a play, but you can't put it in the back of the net.
It's like a complex puzzle, and the goal is to just not mess up, and it's really, really hard to, because you've got 3 people all flying at you, trying to mess you up. But anyway, we're going to have NASSAU here, very deep ball on their side. Once again, Jackson keeping a lot of pressure, 3-3 scoreline. Very much incentive to get some more plays happening here. It's going to just a lot of back and forth play between these 2 teams is making it really hard to predict when somebody's going for anything. It kind of seems a little bit like chaos out there.
Yeah, we went from a very kind of predictable, where we saw one team get lots of solid offensive possessions. You can kind of tell how they were rotating around the field. Now we see lots of passing plays. You see them going for quick plays. They're looking for passes out of the corners and stuff like that, stuff that we haven't quite seen in the series. And the scoreline, I think, really shows that unpredictability, as this is our highest scoring game yet in the series with 6 total goals.
That randomness factor that is Rocket League in its essence can come out and show itself in the competitive nature a little bit more some games than others. Especially, it kind of acts like a snowball effect. If your opponent's playing random, you kind of have to end up playing random, or else they're going to sneak something past you. I think that's kind of what we're seeing here, is both these teams develop less of a pattern of play that their opponents can read, and just try to be a little bit more creative and on the fly with their decision making.
Yeah, and one thing you can definitely use to your advantage in a strategy sense, if you're being predictable, like we kind of saw earlier on with Jackson, they were being pretty predictable with how they were going about their attack earlier on. NASSAU almost getting a goal there, good save by Scopes. Now they're going for the counter, but the predictability you can kind of use to your advantage. If the team expects after about 2 games what you're going to do, then you can try and throw some different stuff at them and hopefully catch them off guard. And we've kind of seen that here, as both teams still sitting at 3-3 as we get close to the final 30 seconds.
I really enjoyed both of those saves from the Jackson side. It was 2 different players. I think it was Scopes and Spoil that ended up saving those. Or no, it was Scopes and Skizbo that ended up saving those. But they were both excellent reads. And NASSAU, that game 2 had a couple unpredictable shots that I don't think Jackson was ready for. Looks like they're trying to read those shots a little bit better.
So we're down to 10 seconds. Scope's trying to get a pass off the corner. It's going to get to the mids. Bolt's there at midfield to try and block this one. It looks like we might be in an OT, but the ball stays alive. Drew, will he catch it? Yes, he does. What does Drew have in his bag of tricks? Goes for the flick, but Scopes with the aggressive challenge does stop it. The ball is still alive. It's going to be a roll in the corner. Dahl going to choose to keep the attack up. It goes out towards midfield. Drew once again picking this one up into the corner. He goes. Can he keep it alive? No, he can't. We're going to head to a game number 3 overtime. So who's going to move up 2-1? It is Golden Goal.
Favorite time for me in Rocket League is overtime. Everybody's making decisions as perfectly as they can because they know the next goal is the end of the game. There's no room for mess ups. And an excellent setup from Jackson there is going to roll right across NASSAU's goal line, but nobody was able to follow it up. Now it's Ghost Drew, who's doing some excellent aerial maneuvers, but a very good challenge by Spoil is going to take that out of the air and give Jackson a little bit more momentum to start getting that back towards their side of the field. A lot of play here in the middle for both teams now.
And we're seeing more aerial play now coming out from the Nassau squad. We saw them stay on the ground a lot, looking for passes and stuff, trying to just move the ball upfield on big clears. And now we're seeing them get out with air dribbles, trying to look for the back wall. But a dangerous play here is right in front of the net, but it's going to be sent out towards the corner from Dahl. Trying to get the pinch, doesn't get much, but he's going to stick with it. Can't get the 50 well with Spoil, but it does at least slow the ball down. Drew is there. And so a minute in, we're still looking for that game winner. There was an opportunity, but Drew gets into the net.
Drew, wonderful. There's a lot of pressure coming out from Jackson here, just a little bit wide on that shot. Jackson is really making NASSAU work to keep these goals out. It's going to be shot after shot after shot coming out from Jackson's side. An excellent demo there by Spoiled. It's got to be giving them a good opportunity here soon.
Something we haven't seen too much of. I love demo plays. I love bump plays. Physical play in Rocket League is one of my favorite things. Here comes a pass off the back wall from Scopes, but Skizbo getting up. He's going to drive it straight down. Spoil getting in, but Drew gets the save. And I want to see a little bit more physical play. I think that's something we might see come out later in the series to try and help break some of this deadlock. These teams very evenly matched here as we are almost 2 minutes now into the overtime. Still looking for that game winner. Here comes Drew. Post makes the save, and Skizbo going to give it a little love tap there. Thank you for that one. Is now counter
downfield. Ball's going to go up. That was a dangerous position there. Dole was going to be the last man there in between that goal going in and being out of luck in this third game. It's been 2 minutes of overtime here as neither team wants to give up position. Tons of opportunities coming out from both sides too. Jackson having a little bit more time, I think, on NASSAU's side, but the play from NASSAU is a little bit more calculated and specific. We're going to see Ninjin go up. He's going to get a little bit of aerial play in himself. Like you said, a lot of more aerial play in the back half of this game is developed.
There's a bump there. Yeah, right now, I mean, it seems like both teams are going about their own different ways of attack. We see the aerial attempts coming out from Nassau, but we see great utilization of the backboard for Jackson, and they found several good opportunities. They just can't seem to find that one to break it. We also saw a really close one for Nassau. Both teams still trying to find the back of the net. Now 3 minutes overtime. I can only imagine what they're feeling in the comms right now. They're probably stressed as all heck.
Absolutely. And it's just so much excellent play. Like, there hasn't really been any lapses of just big oops moments. All these teams are very accurate with what they're trying to do, which I think is why this overtime is going so long. Like, when you're not giving your opponent those opportunities for you to have made mistakes, it's really hard for them to capitalize on it. And neither team are really making mistakes right now. So very, very good play from both of them. We're approaching 4 minutes of overtime as, a very good opportunity from Spoiled there is just going to be a little bit wide.
Oh, a great challenge there by Skizbo. The ball dangerously in front of the net. A little bit of a double commit, but it's going to be sent away by Drew. Skizbo, though, keeping the pressure on. A quick turn on the rotation. Drew save, on that one. Now Dahl trying to get it out, but again, those rotations for the offense for Jackson, they've done really well when it comes to keeping offensive possession, but Drew has some moves to work with, can't get the touch. So now past 4 minutes, and we're still looking for a game winner in game 3.
This has been, it feels like Ghost Drew is kind of doing most of the aggressive work for NASSAU. Oh, they're going to be able to squeak it there, and at the end, a very nice pass opportunity. Ninja is going to kind of bounce it into the goal, past the defender. A little bit of an awkward backflip there from Skuzbo. Not going to be able to get it. That's going to take this third game into NASSAU's favor, 2-1 in the series. But that was an excellent overtime. Excellent.
We're sitting here in the booth. I'm feeling stress after that one. That series was so good. That game, I mean, was so good. And that setup there from Drew to be able to give that goal for Ninja was great. You saw he took control, and then the defense, it looked like there was a little bit of miscommunication. You saw both of them hesitate to go for the challenge. At that point, somebody's just got to commit, dive in on the play, and make him have to make a move earlier. He was able to get a soft touch, and the soft touch on defense is what led up to Ninja just being able to come in and send that one home. But who would have thought game number 3 actually would have been 2 games in 1, as we almost played another full 5 minutes.
I think my favorite's whenever you can look back at a game and your brain thinks series, because it was just there was so much that happened in such a short amount of time. It felt like a multiple game series. We saw different ways that the teams approached playing the game over the course of the series. We saw a lot of aerial play. We saw a lot of rotation at the beginning. The rotation kind of went away in the middle. So just all of these different styles that they were able to adapt back and forth with. I think these a very, very good matchup of teams. Lots of counterplay between the two of them.
Yeah, they both played really well. I love the adjustments, as you said, mid-game. There were some really good ones, as we saw all sorts of adjustments with rotation, speed, style of attack coming in. So I think going forward, the one thing, and I mentioned it earlier, that I want to hopefully see more of is coming out from the Jackson squad. They went for a few demos on Nassau, and it opened up some stuff downfield. It did not lead to goals, but it opened up some opportunities. I think if they can capitalize it and time it right, these demo plays, these bump plays can really come out clutch for them and help them maybe find the back of the net more often.
I think I agree completely that physical play in Rocket League is heavily underrated, especially as we moved further and further away from ground play and more into aerial play. It almost became like a lost art, and occasionally you'll have somebody who actually gets enjoyment out of it, but for the most part, demo play just very underrated in Rocket League.
It absolutely is. And another thing, too, that there's a demo right there, speaking of it, the demo play does is it really gets into the mentality of some players. There are some players who just cannot stand bumps and demos and think they should be taken out of the game entirely. And there are some players who just basically get joy out of those people when they just go for nothing but demos. For any RLCS fans, Virtuoso in a game had like 20 demos one time, or so. I can't even remember the number. It was an insane amount. But you can only imagine what the other players are going through. You're alive for about 5 seconds, and then boom, you're gone again.
There's so many plays, too, that you can really just make your opponents not predict from instituting the physical aspect of the game, because they get so used to not very many people doing it. So there's definitely merit behind it, and I hope we can see Jackson use that to their advantage a little bit more. This game... Ooh, Skizbo there, open goal, open shot. He's going to be able to get the first point. I was about to say, this has been a very long game without a score after that last game scoreline.
Well, I mean, we've gone about now almost 7 minutes without a goal if you include the overtime. But, I mean, there we see a great send downfield. You can see that Nassau overcommitting just a little bit, and that big clear from Skizbo opening up downfield. But there was one play that we were talking about the physical play, but Dahl had a phenomenal solo play with 0 boost. He got around 2 defenders, just could not make it around that last one to be able to find the back of the net. And the solo plays, again, something that we haven't seen too much of. It's not as common in Greece, but if you get those opportunities, it can really be impressive and really shake up the game.
Definitely. Being able to have somebody that you can rely on to be able to put the ball in the back of the net without needing his teammates around gives you a lot less opportunities to have your team overextended in an open net in the backfield, because you have confidence in them to be able to do something. Ghost Drew is going to try to do just that. He's actually going to get the demo shot, which was right on target. Excellent defense here from Jackson, but the follow-up is not going to be able to get the save, and Dole is going to find a very excellent position in that bottom right corner.
And great pressure coming out from Nassau there. All set up by, again, as we were just saying, the solo play something, again, we haven't seen too much of, but it seems to work because it makes the defense have to figure out how do you stop it, and is he looking for something else when the player comes down the field for it, because it could very well lead to a pass off the back wall, or maybe even just trying to get it around the defense to try and draw them out.
Once again, fast play from NASSAU. You know, we were talking about switching up that mid-game adjustment. It looks like they might be, you know, doing some more of that. A little bit slower pace at the beginning of this game, and now they've kind of switched back on those throttles. A 1-1 score line. Both teams are pushing very hard here. Saw, you know, up in the series is really wanting to make sure that they can push that lead up and get this third game. But I don't know. Jackson is doing a very excellent job at essentially being able to counter that aggression in their own way. You know, they're not necessarily getting as fast or as down the field as quickly as NASSAU, but when they get down the field, they're finding very good opportunities. And I think that's what I'm liking about this matchup.
Yeah, they're doing a great job of making the opportunities and making them count when they get them. Like, and there's one of them. Some confusion on defense leads to the goal from Spoil, and Skizbo's setting this one up. They're using the post plenty in this one. Both goals coming off post passes, and we see a little bit of confusion on defense. The demo left them down one, and Dahl had little to no boost to make a play, so lots of out of position play leads to that goal.
I'd say it is a bit awkward for Jackson to want to be playing a little bit more precise, because every time Scopes hits the ball, it just goes down to the other side of the field. Ninjin's going to get the demo shot once again. This time it is going to go in, bringing that scoreline immediately back to 2-2. And you know, they're wanting this advantage right now in the series. They want this game. This game does mean a lot for the morale, or the mental side of the rest of the series.
Yeah, especially after going into a almost a 4.5 minute overtime. It is just draining mentality, and to think that there's still, if they do advance, 2 more rounds to this tournament. So best of 7s are tough as they are on their own, but to add in almost an extra full game on top of what you're already playing can be very tough on the mind. As now a big save coming through, Ninjin will take that 50 as Dahl looking to counter.
It's going to be Spoilt getting up for the challenge a little bit earlier than Dole. Dole with some nice follow-up. Drew's going to get it passed over. Skizbo with a good challenge. Drew following it right back up. That's going to put them in a very good position to make something happen. Spoilt's going to knock it into Scopes. Scopes once again with that power. It's a very good interception there from NASSAU. I didn't quite see who it was. Dole going to go for some of that physical play that we were talking about. And I'm just, again, it goes from being very passive to very, very quick pace between these two teams very quickly.
Yeah, we're seeing, it still feels like Jackson playing a little bit more on the passive side. They're waiting to counter the mistakes being made by NASSAU, but NASSAU is just going full throttle. That's a big boom by Ninjin. The Dahl can't get up that one, and now can they make something happen, or are we headed to a second overtime in the series? It's going to be a shot here by Ninjin up into the upper corner, just too high.
Still alive here. Scope's going to knock it. Ghost Drew's going to kill that, drop it right to the ground, and overtime is here. Hopefully, we're going to see, I want to see a little bit quick overtime just for the students' sake at this point, because we don't need another 5-minute one.
It's a little much. I mean, it's great to watch. It's great to see those long, intense games, but my gosh, they are exhausting because it's so much. You're trying to keep the ball to the net for as long as you can. Sometimes it's just easier to get that refresh, but a 3-1 lead on the line here for NASSAU. Tying up the series here on the line for Jackson. It's right there, and Dahl puts it home.
A beautiful shot there from Dole is going to secure NASSAU that third game here in the series. It's going to put them up 3-1, and that is a huge morale boost for them, and that should give them a lot of confidence going into the fifth game rather. Jackson, on the other hand, they've got even more reason now, right? Like, they're down 3-1. If their opponent wins the next game, they're out of the tournament. So I really think we're going to see Jackson also kind of giving it everything they've got, and maybe even moving away from some of that passiveness, because passiveness can come back and bite you when you're relying on your opponents to make mistakes and then they're not making mistakes. And I think that's kind of what we saw happen at the back end of that game here against NASSAU, is they were relying on them to kind of flub, and then they weren't flubbing, so they weren't able to find any opportunities.
Yeah, and that passiveness led to a total of 12 goals coming out from Nassau. Granted, Jackson did step up to make 9 saves throughout that one, but when you're playing defense for that long of an amount of time, it just is draining because you're just fighting time and time again to try and just get the ball away from your zone.
That and resources, if you're stuck in defense that much, you're only really getting about half the field worth of boost, and you're having to send somebody out, which is really hard on a defensive rotation to try to compensate that. So at some point you have to move away from that passiveness because you're just going to start getting choked out of your resources.
I wouldn't be surprised if here we see Jackson kick up the pace, try to match Nassau speed or even faster to try and really just throw them off their game, try and be that unpredictable team that we were talking about earlier on in the series and try and see if they can just catch them off guard.
Watching some of Spoiled's play and then knowing how Scopes hits the ball, I don't have any doubt in my mind that Jackson can play as fast or as aggressive as NASSAU's been. In fact, there's been a couple times in the match we've seen them get that aggressive with each other. I think it's just Jackson needs to feel more confident being that fast, that they aren't going to make mistakes just because they're playing quicker. Because I absolutely think they have everything to play that way.
Oh, but there is Dahl with a great play. He slows things down as this pop is beautiful. And I think Drew also helped set that up a little bit, maybe scaring Skizbo as he looked like he was going to maybe go for the bump play.
As a good mental play, we've seen a little bit of more physical come out throughout this series, and now it's making players start to think a little bit more about it. And I think you called it earlier, they're going to introduce it more into their game plan whenever they feel like they need something new, then instead of just coming right out the gate and showing. Oh, Spoiled with an excellent shot on goal there. Beautiful save. Oh, that was very dangerous. Almost brought that scoreline back even.
A nice demo there. Scopes at least relieving a little bit of pressure for Spoiled. And it looks like Dahl is going to sit back on this one. So it almost feels like we're seeing Nassau slow things down after being a very quick team earlier on. But, I mean, we've seen them go in and out of this aggressive, passive play as Dahl coming off the ceiling, can't get that 50, but Ninja going to keep the pressure on.
I appreciate Nassau taking a little bit of time to come back. They know that Jackson plays a more passive style. They're up in the series. They're up in the game. They don't really need to be pressing an advantage at the moment. They just need to make sure Jackson's not going to catch them slipping. So I very much like how Nassau's approaching this fifth game.
Yeah, game number 5. I mean, 3-1 lead. Those are always some of the most dangerous leads in sports because one game could lead to a huge momentum shift for the team that is down. So Jackson, again, trying to get it. We're seeing some physical attempts here, but 12 can't make contact with anybody. At least getting into the minds of them. Scope's going to look for a shot off the back wall, and now they have an opportunity to get a counter.
A little bit of overextension. I think that may be what Nassau is trying to rely on too. As I've noticed it a couple times, is when Jackson does start getting comfortable being on their opponent's side of the field, they tend to overextend a little bit and not leave anybody in that back goal. So we'll have to see if that's kind of what Nassau is maybe relying on for this game. Here we're going to see Dole once again. Yep, that was a nice pass down into the deep field, and then Dole there just kind of escorted it into the back of the net. Actually, it was a bit of an awkward 50.
And as you were just saying, it was an awkward 50 coupled up with a double commit. And as you were just saying, taking that extra man, moving him up a little too far, leads to the goal there for Nassau.
So a strong performance here with the 2-0 scoreline. 2 minutes and 45 seconds left. Jackson absolutely has the ability to get back into this, but beautiful
that was
play
clean passing there.
He didn't get the goal, but watching his control there was absolutely worth every minute of it. And that was actually Jackson with a pretty good shot opportunity there, and it's going to be Bestru who's going to be able to save that one. Skizbo's going to go up off the wall. He's going to follow it, but it's going to be Bestru in the air to steal that away. Some very good challenges here for both teams. It's once it starts to get towards the goal for both ends that they start to lose their way a little bit. Oh, off the crossbar, is not going to be able to follow it up.
That was a beautiful hook shot there by Scopes. He had the opportunity, was looking right there for the power, but just could not get the angle the way he needed to. Ninja not moving. We might have a disconnect on the field, but we'll keep playing on as Drew is there. There we go. Ninja is up on the field again.
Very unfortunate if that were the pace. It's going to be Best Drew who's going to be trying to get that goal in. Scopes with some excellent positioning. He's playing very good goalie this game for Jackson here. He's gotten quite a few saves. Boyle going to try to get that ball hit, but it is going to bounce over him, and Best Drew able to put that up for a 3-0 scoreline here from NASSAU.
And just great placement on that 50 challenge from Drew. He knew how to angle his car. He saw the defender was coming in low, so if he could get up and just get that dunk, it's going to the back of the net. Now 3-0 with a minute and a half, and Jackson needs to get something going quickly as they are just trying to stay alive here in the tournament. The loss here eliminates them for today.
And this, the scoreline looks a lot much more similar to that second game we saw, where NASSAU was just in a very dominating performance. And I don't think Jackson felt the comfortability of playing that passive game that they were feeling the other games. And so I think, that scoreline showing that, because if I do remember right, the second game was very, very aggressive paced and very fast paced like this game is. Oh, another shot right there off the corner.
That's a nice, great placement, a good 50 from Ninja, and Skizbo just a little too slow to it as Drew gets that perfect placement. But it almost seems like the Jackson squad is doing a really good job at reacting to the faster paced play, just trying to catch those counter opportunities, those couple of slips in the defense or the offense to be able to find the back of the net or at least get the ball downfield. But this slower pace, this more technical pace that we're seeing from what a solo play there real quick from Drew, but NASSAU from the slower pace just seems to be throwing off Jackson a little bit.
We got 44 seconds here, a 5-0 scoreline. Definitely a little bit difficult to see Jackson coming back at this point. But I do appreciate, we're seeing them still, giving everything they've got. They're not really allowing themselves to just let the game walk over. I know the scoreline's a little bit high, but if you actually watch them playing, they're very much committed to still trying to get goals and finish the game properly.
Absolutely, yeah. Never give up on the play, no matter what the scoreline is. You always play for pride. If it's a blowout, that's just what you got to do. You play for yourselves, even though it might be pretty much a done deal here with now 15 seconds left to go as we see Skizbo going to try and get this one out. A huge 50 bit Spolt has an opportunity to get the ball downfield, and now Drew takes to the air. What does he have in store? Goes for an opportunity for the double. Not going to get that one.
Ball will die. NASSAU will take the series. Excellent series regardless.
Throughout that series, what do you think NASSAU needs to look forward to going into the semis?
I would say really just sticking to what their strengths were that game. They really enjoyed playing that aggressive style. They didn't make a ton of mistakes while doing it, which is a very impressive thing. Typically when you're playing more aggressive and faster pace, you're leaving yourself open to make mistakes. That's the decision you choose to make when you play that game style. And they weren't really making a whole lot of it. And especially for a team that was sitting back, playing passive and relying on them to make mistakes, they really just showcased how accurate and precise they can be with their play style, how good they interact with each other as a team.
Yeah, they played really, really well, and they looked very cohesive. I mean, nobody was really carrying that team. They worked very well as a unit, and that's something you love to see, especially at this high level of play. At this time, we've got Skizbo from Jackson on the line. He's going to be joining us here. So, Jackson, are you there? Or, sorry, Skizbo. Sorry, are you there? There you are. How are you doing today?
I'm doing pretty good. Could be better, but could be worse too.
Yeah, unfortunately, you guys got the loss there, but it was not for a lack of effort. You guys put in a stellar performance. So throughout that game number 3 OT, we went nearly 5 minutes. How were you guys feeling about that OT? What was going on in comms? How were the emotions?
We were feeling good, honestly. That's some of the best Rocket League we've played as a team. And yeah, our comms were solid the whole time, and it was just, as soon as you slip, it's a goal against them. They're just real fast and incredibly good.
Yeah, that was one thing we kept saying. Their speed was one thing that really looked like it made it tough for you guys. But you guys did a really good job of waiting for those opportunities to be able to counter and bounce on top of it. So, Hoodie, do you have any questions for Skizbo?
I just wanted to say, I thought you guys, as he was mentioning there, did a really good job kind of waiting to see if they made any mistakes. taking this game and moving forward, did you learn anything about how you guys are kind of approaching the game?
Oh, definitely. I mean, every time we play together, we're learning something new, and playing against high people, especially in this tournament, that's one of the best teams we've played for sure. And yeah, playing against people like that really really allows you to learn about yourself. We gotta get a little more aggressive. You know, gotta make a little less defensive mistakes, and you know, not panic on the defense, and you know, keep our rotation strong. But we're definitely improving.
That's
you guys
awesome.
look
I'm
very
glad to.
impressive. Oh, sorry, go ahead, Hoodie.
You're fine. I'm just glad that you could, you were able to take away everything. I very much like that mentality. Every losing or every loss is a learning opportunity. So I'm excited to see your guys' season turn out. I really am. You guys had some excellent play.
I appreciate it. I appreciate it.
Yeah, good luck going forward, and hopefully you guys have a very successful season. Things look good here, so obviously I hope that boosts the confidence for you guys moving forward.
Yeah, for sure. Thank you guys for having me, and thanks for the tournament. You know, it was really fun.
And no problem. And thank you again, Skizbo, for joining us. So that is our quarterfinals match, and thank you, Hoodie, for hopping into the booth with me.
Yes.
Hopefully you had a great time. It was fun casting with you. We had a phenomenal series, and we've got 2 more coming up still.
Absolutely. I very much enjoyed casting with you. I will actually be back here for the semifinals next round, so I'll be back here in the booth. I do apologize for jumping in late again, but I was a fan of the whole series that I did get to witness, and that 5-minute overtime, probably never be able to forget it. It's a whole extra game they played.
They did. It was absolutely amazing. You love to see it.